Now that we've introduced you to Medicare, it's time to get into the nuts and bolts of the program. We took a look at the nature of Medicare, how it's financed and administered, and then at parts A and B of traditional Medicare. Some of the more important things to remember include what is actually covered under Part A, the hospitalization portion, and Part B, the medical portion. We also covered the related costs to the beneficiary. This in-depth examination included details of how each part works, the benefits associated with A and B, cost sharing, benefit periods, and Medicare approved amount that's used as the basis for Medicare payments to providers. You've seen how Medicare is very specific as to what facilities are covered, and there are a lot of facilities. There are inpatient and outpatient coverages in hospitals, clinics, and doctor's offices. There's also coverage in skilled nursing facilities, or SNFs. An interesting side note here is the change in language that comes about in the last 20 years or so. Prior to that time, the terms skilled nursing facility and nursing home were essentially interchangeable. Not so today. Make sure to remember that a SNF is not a nursing home today. Today's SNFs are facilities primarily intended for recovery and rehabilitation. SNFs have basically taken on the role of what used to be known as transitionary care units in hospitals. This means that while the patients may require a slightly higher level of care in the SNF, it's still much less expensive than keeping the person in the hospital. We covered the Medicare Modernization Act Congress passed in 2003. That created Medicare Part D. The prescription drug plan covers prescription medications that are otherwise not covered. But also remember that some Medicare Part C plans already include prescription coverage. While these policies must meet all the guidelines and regulations set out by Medicare, they are meant to help the insured person secure benefits that go beyond traditional Medicare. And like traditional Medicare, there are open and closed enrollment periods for these policies. Our next section explains another alternative to carrying just traditional Medicare. Before Part C Medicare Advantage policies were authorized by Congress, there were Medicare Supplement policies, also known as Medigap contracts. These were meant to fill in the gaps of traditional Medicare, and over time, the policies have been standardized throughout the industry. As with nearly everything having to do with Medicare, Medigap contracts must be approved and contain all the benefits provided by traditional Medicare. There are a number of consumer protections in these policies, like all other Medicare-based contracts. And as part of those protections, there are rules regarding marketing and advertising that must be followed. We finish this part of the lesson with a look at important provisions, such as the right to examine provision, which allows a policy owner to review a policy and have a period of time to look it over and decide whether to keep it. This is not free coverage given to the insured. It's just a period of time to look at it and get a refund on premiums paid if it's not kept. Let's continue.